just kind of sort through my own thoughts for my own benefit, and then also maybe to speak to sort of outwardly to the public as well. I don't know, it's kind of like a amalgam of both. You know, like a journal entry, but also just like a public diary of sorts. Yeah, where you can kind of come and write your notations into my script, if you will. There's a lovely cloud over yonder, some nice colours. I would really like to talk about Islam, straight up, because I've been getting death threats from a Muslim who's not leaving me alone. I don't know how serious you're meant to take these sorts of threats, like, you know what I mean? Like, or like, do people study the nature of death threats? Like, how are you meant to actually gauge whether, you know, it's like, because like at some level I believe, like, I mean, it just is fact that, like, in sort of, I mean, I knew this before this, but in encountering it personally, it just reaffirms my understanding of Islam being a death cult. Like, you know, like, you insult their prophet, or you talk about the behavior of their prophet, which is what I've been doing. I've been discussing one particular area, which is, which was the nature of Muhammad's relationship with Aisha. And one of the reasons I literally talk about this, or post about it publicly, it's just one of the things I talk about. I kind of care about pedophilia in general. I care about, like, sexual, or like am interested to discuss sexual matters, behavior, sexuality in general as well. And pedophilia is just kind of like part of that. And then also that is a feature of, or certainly an arguable feature. It is at some level a feature of Muhammad and Aisha, and it can be a problem in Islamic countries. Like, you have them marrying people, like, you know, like child marriage is essentially a thing in a lot of Islamic countries, and we just, like, can't really be having that. I am aware that, you know, like, I'm not, the thing is, like, I just don't think we have to, and this goes for anything, like, that we're kind of, like, talking about and stuff, is, like, I don't think we all have to be experts to, like, into discussion about a topic, you know what I mean? Like, and because I'm very, like, pro-education, pro-learning, pro-discussion, you know, hold your line, have your opinions, be open-minded, you know, like, be open to being convinced otherwise. Like, I'm entering discussion about this specific matter in hope to learn more about the truth of it, and, you know, like, you know, you've got quite a lot of Muslims on the planet. It's like, how do they all justify this if it's true? And if it's not true, then I still think, like, Muslims should be able to discuss the fact that some other Muslims do believe it is true. So yeah, like, one, I'm seeking to understand the true nature of Muhammad and Aisha's relationship, because it's definitely possibly the case that she was sick, married when Muhammad married her when she was 6. He was like 50 or something, and then had sex with her at 9. That's the frame. And then some people say, oh, we don't really know her age, but she was young. Some people say 16, some people say 18, 19. I think it's less problematic, or, you know, like, it's definitely a bit more acceptable by today's standard if she was 18. Obviously, you can still question that, and I think that's fair, but, you know, it's quite a different case than being married at 6 and had sex with at 9. And so I'd just like to have a bit more clarity on this whole topic, because, like, if that's your moral leader, like the other thing that makes me care about talking about this is the fact that is the state of the UK with respect to freedom of speech, quite arguably in relation to Islam. Like I'm not very happy about that. I'm not very happy about the state of freedom of speech in the UK. That deeply bothers me, and I do think it has a big part of that is to do with this sort of Islamic cultural tensions with the West, and we just can't have this. I'm sorry, but like I reject that. We can't be reneging on freedom of speech like when we're discussing a matter of pedophilia, like of this being a moral leader, like he's a role model figure for a like international religion. You know what I mean? Like, and this is only one disagreeable point of Islam, especially when it's transpired that we've had these grooming gangs in Britain and stuff. It's just like, no, I'm sorry, we're not just going to say, oh, you're being Islamophobic, like, no. And like, anyway, this is, so I talk about this, I repost, one of my most frequently repost videos is a short clip of Alex O'Connor asking the question of like, was it ever morally permissible to, you know, for a man to marry a 6-year-old and have sex with her, and that just gets the point across. And yeah, I do have like more like broad thoughts on the I need to watch my speed. I've got 5 demerits left, so I need to be really careful. I just remember because I got done here the other day. They were on the bridge taking like little zappy speed dials, and then they like pulled off the slip and like pulled me up. I was like, oh dang. So at least I wasn't going as fast as I was before. Anyway, yeah, I have more, and it's not just like a honing in and like biasly like only caring about Islam. I think pedophilia is a problem across the board. You know, we've got this Epstein thing. Australia has like I've read stats recently, and I question stats, but you know, like there is some truth to stats at least. Like Australia has apparently the worst viewership of child porn per capita in the world. You know, and then like in New Zealand, one of the top cops just got done for like, or hardly done. He got 9 months home D for watching like child porn and bestiality, and like what I couldn't believe on top of that was that what he said, he was like, oh, I didn't think there was anything wrong. What, bro? I'm sorry, what? But you're a cop. You're upholding the law. You're like the moral law enforcer, and you don't know that watching child porn is wrong? Bro, the fuck? Yeah, so, I said the Epstein thing, yeah? Yeah, it's just like the child porn, the child molestation is like bad across the board. And I think, well, one thing that I think would really help, you know, harm prevention would be encouraging like a culture of being able to talk about sexual matters. And also, even in like Christianity, you have history of like pedophilia in the church and stuff. Like that was literally one of the reasons why I distanced myself with, like, when I got to high school. I didn't have a really like strict Christian upbringing or anything, but I did have a vague. I mean, we went to church here and there. We weren't like every weekend by any means. It was more just like Christmas. I feel like we were maybe a little bit more regular when I was like really little. I don't really remember though. But like we didn't really read the Bible. I thought sin was for like American Christians. Like the really intense ones. And then anyway, got to high school, and like one of my sort of rationalizations was, like pedophilia in the church, like, you know, what's that about, like religious wars, like, this is dumb. And my agnosticism probably set in there. But I think pedophilia matters. I think, you know, just sexuality in general is an interesting topic. Like on many, like I've experienced like sexual assault and and a lot of sort of grey area or possible sexual assaults and stuff. And I think in terms of my own personal growth, I would just like to speak to that, because I think had I been able to navigate sexual matters and like just the topic and just like interactions, I think I probably could have mitigated a lot of harm. Or like, I think if it was just maybe drilled into me, the risks a little bit more, like it's possible I could have like saved myself from some of my traumatic experiences. So yeah, I just think it's an important issue on many fronts. Also just like sexual pleasure, you know, like there's a lot of taboo around the topic, and I just think it would be healthier if people were able to talk about, you know, like you've got all like the kinks and fetishes and shit like that, and that's just like, I mean, I imagine there's many more that I am not aware of, but I'm aware of an extensive amount. I mean, you know, you live life and you come to be aware of lots of different kinds of things. And I guess like the most crucial point though with sexuality is kind of like, at what point does it become criminal or wrong, or or how do we mitigate, or how do we help like sexual desires that are criminal in nature, or like would become criminal if acted upon? Like, how do we help that? That really interests me to discuss, and that obviously includes pedophilia and rape and stuff like that. And this is all a general area I'm interested in discussing. And then also also another big motivating factor is I've sort of become embroiled in Christianity the last couple of years, and that has a very strict sexual framework by comparison with sort of liberal societal standards at this point. And to be honest, I can really appreciate the Christian framework. Like I get it, like waiting till marriage, like monogamous, heteronormative, you know, like I can appreciate it. But also, people still get raped in marriage. There can be coercion and stuff like that. And, you know, what about like sexual pleasure within marriage, or like, you know, like female's relationship to sexual pleasure like is quite different than men's. But also, like, not to say that men don't have their problems too, but I think women's are probably it's not about battling them off, but I just think like female sexuality can be sort of, I don't know, like it's, you know, like a lot of women have never or don't have like orgasm or whatever. Like it's like, that's a very like the distribution of sexual pleasure in a sexual engagement is probably lopsided towards males significantly experiencing more pleasure, or, you know, like more men, you know. I'm sure you all understand what I'm trying to say. And I don't think that's a non-issue. And like Christianity can kind of like paint it out as if like sexual, like But it's like, if you're having sex and there's no sexual pleasure, like, that's probably not good. Like, that's probably not quite right. Like, is that not like getting kind of into a rapey space? Yeah. Anyway, there's some random thoughts. All of these topics interest me to talk about. I don't think any of them are non-issues. I honestly think they're all kind of significant. Yeah. Also, like, lust is an interesting thing. That's like kind of definitely quite a Christian concept, but broader as well. Anyway. Try to follow the cop into town. Sup, my guy. RGS 130. What up, G? Reintegration services. Go time. Now, is the cop going 30? No. You're speeding, mate. You're speeding. 15k over. I know that because, I don't know. He's legitimately speeding there. You're speeding, my G. If I was a cop, I'll pull you over, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, RGS 130 just sped down Colombo Street. Going above 30, I reckon. I don't know what the day is, but I'll post it and you'll know. Alrighty, peace out. God bless, eh? Go check out Jesus and the Resurrection, see what you make of all that. Yeah?